We always hear this talk about the matrix. And the matrix is really a system. It's really some sort of format, some sort of a structure. Well, the one in which we operate in several levels. There's several levels of matrix. The one that I started talking about first, the reason why I wanted to go into that is as far as the governmental structure and all of that, is because that is the one that ensures that you're going to be locked in. And then you have the others that are in control of that one. But this particular one, that's the kicker. Because that one ensures a survival program. That one ensures the survival program because you will always be surviving. I don't care. And I always say it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with money. It has to do with fear and your ego. All of those two things will make you hang on to surviving because you must protect what? Your life. You must protect your existence. At all costs, you must protect that. And that is the focus. And that's what this matrix does to you. It keeps you locked in here, and that's why you don't really see anything outside of that. Because what it does is it locks you in so tight that you keep coming back. It's tied into the reincarnation wheel. So we're going to talk about that later on too. It's tied into that reincarnation wheel. And that for people who say they don't believe in reincarnation, in a way I understand that. Because past, present, and future exist all at the same time. So since they exist all at the same time, then you are, in one sense, not necessarily experiencing past life experiences, which we'll also talk about later on too. But it's more the traveling of your consciousness. So it's your consciousness that's doing all the traveling. And it just looks like you're all over the place because you will only remember or be able to acknowledge the reality that you're focused on at this moment, like right now. Like right now, this is what we see. This is where we're at. But anyway, it is I describe it as a spherical field of energy. It's like it just pulsates. It has its own frequency pattern, and it's encoded with specifications for its existence. And what I mean by that is that it's encoded with that. It's encoded with what is required for the life force, life, you, here. Okay, so it's almost like a giant computer program, and it's got everything that is needed to ensure that you keep going to where you're going. But what's interesting is that it's only mirroring back to you what you are putting out. Collectively, we have an understanding. Collectively, we are all thinking on a certain wavelength, right? So what happens is that is continuously being fed back in to it, and it just keeps spitting out the same thing over and over. But you don't know that, so nothing changes. But you actually are the one regulating all of these systems. And that's the trippy part. You're the one regulating all of these systems. But the way it loops is so tricky. The way it loops, you're just always caught in someplace else, like a maze, that you just end up right back where you started from. You just end up right back where you started from, always. So the Earth, although a system in itself, is not the imprisoning system, but is enveloped by this spherical field that I'm talking about. This field acts as a locked gate, I've said that many times, and has been designed to continue its existence just as long as collective consciousness continues to operate based on these laws that are the system itself. This system is in full awareness of the vibration of the general consciousness on the planet through uploads and downloads which take place on an ongoing basis. So when I say uploads and downloads, because all creation is based on a transmitting and a receiving process, then that same formula throughout creation, this pulsating process that we're going to talk about, there's a pulsation just like you breathe in, you breathe out. There's a pulse process that happens with everything in creation, the spin, all of that. And so it's the same situation that happens with the uploads and downloads into the system. So your consciousness, because of the vibration of your consciousness, where your consciousness is, it's looped into this system. And so it knows what's going on, what everybody is doing. It knows exactly what's going on. Now, we're going to talk about technology, but this is technology supported by electromagnetic fields, energy patterns of which consciousness and the physical world exists. And that's color, light, and sound. The color, light, and sound spectrum, which we're going to talk about. And there are 7 bands that surround the body, each one representing each of these 7 levels that I will be showing you at the break.